This time for real. Welcome everyone to RWE F1 tier today. We're back after a 3-week winter break and ready for some more racing action in our dedicated Formula 1 tier. And today it's going to be round 13 of our season here at Hungary, at the Hungary Ring in Budapest more specifically. And we've already got a couple of people going out onto the track. Looks like a Ferrari's out first. That will be RWE Pat, our lobby host, out on the soft compound tire. It's going to be an 18-minute qualifying session here today, short qualifying, followed by a 50% length race, which at Hungary would be 35 laps. And it looks like Pat's going to be the first driver of our 19 today to set a flying lap time. So once he begins his flying lap, we'll ride on board with him, and I'll take you around a quick tour of this wonderful Hungarian Grand Prix circuit. And he took out one of the marker boards there, coming into the chicane. That's usually a no-no, but it looked accidental, so we'll just gloss over that. Have quite a few reserve drivers filling in today. For example, Upstage Body 76 in the Alpha Tauri is filling in today for Rush 400, who had a prior engagement with another league today. Same with NW Noel filling in for Alec K. George in the Alfa Romeo. Both the Alfa Romeos today are actually being driven by reserves, as well as one of the Renaults. WNS Ghost is filling in for CTR Stringy, among others. And now we're going to ride on board with RWE Pat for a ride around the Hungary Ring. Braking for turn 1, heavy braking zone. Probably the best overtaking spot in the entire circuit. Third gear, very tricky to get right. Not sure Pat's done so there. Coming out of turn 1, another DRS zone and another braking zone for turn number 2. This isn't quite as good for overtaking as the other one, but it is still possible. Back at someone after they passed you in that area. Now, towards the end of the first sector, into turn 4, arguably the most challenging part of the track. Almost flat out. Pat seems to have gotten it a little bit wrong there. Now through turn 5, there's not a spin curb on the inside of the corner, so you got to be careful. Now braking for the chicane with those huge honking sausage curbs. Doing a good job to avoid them there. And now blasting his way through this S section, mostly taking him 4th and 5th gear. And this left-hander is flat, followed by turn number 9, I believe it is. Very hard to keep track of corner numbers at this circuit. And then a 90-degree right-hander into the 3rd sector. All about carrying as much speed as possible through the apex. And then to finish off the lap, a quick double hairpin, as you can see, and here's the final corner. We're going to get on the throttle as early as possible without losing the rear end. Pat's done that pretty well, and he's going to set a time of a 1 minute 18.761. Got a whole train of cars coming up to the final corner now. Racing Point, a Merc, a Ferrari. Not sure how many of them are on flying laps. I guess we'll find out in a moment. Oh, they're all coming into the pit lane. And Great Ace is now retired, and it looks like he's crashed. Ooh, that was a very close call for Epic J-Ball. Just as we were cutting to him, he went by Great Ace at the exit of turn 4. And yeah, turn 4 is a very hairy corner. If you get it wrong, if you try to carry just a little bit too much speed, you can lose the rear end, and this happens. And Great Ace has paid the price for that mistake with his front left tire, so it looks like he will be starting at the back along with WNS Ghost. And someone just set a lap time. Gas Girl finally set a lap time, a very slow one, 125.80. That's just a banker time, but at least it is something. It'll get him ahead of Great Ace at the very least. NW Noel and the Alfa Romeo also in a good position to maybe disrupt with an alternate strategy. And then Miniscope, Hogballs, RWE Pat, Gas Girl, Great Ace, Pyrosi, and WNS Ghost not having very good luck at all in qualifying. All of them at least 2 seconds off the pace of the leader, of the very impressive pole time from Baby Pluto. All right, here we go. Five red lights. And away we go. Looks like a good start from Baby Pluto, but Tom Battlers is also glitching ahead on the scoreboard. It looks like, all right, we've got scoreboard glitches, but Mr. B and Baby Pluto are side by side into turn 1, and Mr. B gets a good enough start to take the lead right off the bat. Looks like Baby Pluto was actually ghosted. He might have disconnected from the session. Let's see what's going on now. I believe that's Tom Battlers into second place in the Red Bull. The scoreboard is making things a little bit complicated by glitching out profusely. We'll get that sorted in a moment, but Mr. B United is your leader right now in the Mercedes. Make no mistake. Yes, that is Tom Battlers in second. Baby Pluto has fallen back to third already. And behind them, Epic J-Balls had an excellent start from 10th to 5th in one sector. How he's managed that, and we've got a spinner at the back. It's Murdoch in the Red Bull. Murdoch looks like he had a moment off of turn 5. Now W1 as Ghost has a similar moment off the chicane. Ooh, these two are going to be really holding each other up. That's not doing either of them a whole lot of good, but yeah, it's like quite a messy start for some of the folks, especially towards the back. A huge train of cars right now, stretching from the leader, Mr. B, all the way back to, I suppose, Pyrosi in the AlphaTauri. Actually, even back to Upstage Body in the second AlphaTauri in 13th. The top 13 are all kind of nose to tail right now. It really is impressive. Oh no, it is just the top 8. Mr. B sets the fastest lap, 1:22.2. That shouldn't be happening. DRS, it says DRS is enabled on its lap 3, but yeah, I don't think that's the case. It's just glitching out on us. It's actually lap 2 at the moment. Do not be fooled by the very glitchy Codemasters timing system. Maybe Pluto's still ghosted. I wonder, is he actually under AI control? Oh no, he's unghosted now. Baby Pluto is still with us. Don't you worry, anybody. Anyway. Mr. B being pursued by Tom Battlers at the moment. Riding on board with the Red Bull driver. Ooh, Mr. B getting a little bit squirrely out of turn number 8. Of course, no overtaking opportunities in this technical middle sector. No matter what mistake Mr. B makes, Tom will most likely have to wait until the pit straight to make a move. And I doubt he'll be able to do that until DRS is enabled at the start of this next lap. And Cody's has now corrected itself on the matter of what lap it is. It is lap 2. We're just coming up to the end of lap 2. DRS is not enabled yet, contrary to what the game said earlier. Now starting the third lap, it doesn't look like Baby Pluto is able to keep up with the guys in front. Maybe using a more qualifying-oriented setup. Oh, scratch that, actually. Baby Pluto just set a faster lap time than Tom's and Mr. B. So he is still in the CTR Kaos. Looks like he's already had some sort of issue because he's pitted on lap 1 for hard compound tires. Maybe trying to stretch him to the end. That is technically possible, but seriously not recommended. Well, as an AlphaTauri and a McLaren go side by side further back, I believe that's Pyrosi and Wang King battling over position. But we're focusing on the 2 leaders for now. Looks like a Verstappen-Hamilton fight from the race here in 2019. Both of them very close, although for most of that race, Verstappen was out ahead in the Red Bull rather than Hamilton in the Mercedes. Ooh, very close from Battlers, having to lock off a bit into turn 11. This line through the corner getting compromised maybe ever so slightly by the dirty air. Should be very wiggly off the final corner. This could be a chance for a move as there's the yellow flag for the back. Both Renaults having some serious troubles early on. Just be breaking the slipstream. As they go down the pit straight, is Tom's going to be close enough into turn number 1? It doesn't look like it. Ooh, but very close, almost into the back of Mr. B in the braking zone. Big Pluto and RWE seem to be able to keep up as well, but Ben Spittles in 5th place is not. He's already fallen out of the DRS range of 4th place. But it's also well ahead of Pyrosi in the AlphaTauri. How has he done that? Pyrosi is already up from, where did he start? 17th, somewhere at the back because he didn't set a lap time. He's already up to 6th place. He's pulled a Kimi Räikkönen on us. I didn't even notice that. That's taking advantage of the chaos at the start, especially in turn 1, I suspect. May have put him in that position. But let's take a look at some battles further back. Actually, let's go back to the front. Look at this. The top 4 nose to tail all in one frame. And if they start squabbling in the mid corner, if they start compromising each other's lines by going defensive and such, and locking up more, then that could bring Ben Spittles into the battle. Because Ben, while he's not top tier in this league, he does still have some decent pace. Still running in P5 at the moment, and he's gaining quite a bit of time here in the more technical portions of the track simply because he's not being held up by anyone in front of him. Huge GRS train from Mr. B down to Aiden at the moment. Tom Dodler's trying to break the train by going around the outside of the Mercedes. What can he do? It looks like he's going to make it stick around the outside. Look at that. Tom Dodler's into the lead. What a move. It's very unlikely that Mr. B is going to be able to come back at him because that was the last overtaking opportunity, turn 2, for pretty much the rest of the lap. What a move from the Red Bull driver. I wonder, has Mr. B kind of become the cork in the bottle here? Maybe he took too much out of his tires in the first couple of laps. And now Baby Pluto's going to be on the back of him. Unless, of course, Aiden can attack Pluto first. Just have to see how this pans out. But one thing is for sure, it is going to be entertaining. Ben Spittle's gained another 1/10 of a second in the first sector, and CTR Kaos is now out of the race. Looks like he's crashed on the exit of turn 1. That's where his car's stopped. We're going to ride on board with Gas Barrel to find out. Let's see where that Renault is. Oh, yeah, he's just lost it. Look at that. He's facing the wrong way. And, yeah, that's an unfortunate end for CTR Kaos. And now Murdoch's out. Hold on a minute. Two people biting the dust almost simultaneously. Gas Girl, we're going to ride on board with him again. And the safety car is out. Two crashes almost simultaneously. Again, what a start. Yep, that is Murdoch. He made the same mistake that the Great Ace did in qualifying, just being a little bit too confident through turn 4 and paying for it with your left front tire. He's going to choose just the right moment to go, riding on board now. And he's going to go now off the final corner. And he'll be able to use the Constantino effect to his advantage with that decision. Oh, a wheel on the grass for Pyrosi. That's not going to help him down the pit straight. Meanwhile, Noel and Wang King already seem to be battling. Pat already losing a position to Wang King. Wang King 21 in the McLaren, despite being on a harder tire, is trying to make up positions early and quickly. Oh, contact. Wang King's around. My gosh, Wang King, it looked like he was being really aggressive. Baby Pluto just retired. Hold on a minute. What happened to Baby Pluto? Oh, he's out. The pole sitter from this race, Baby Pluto, in the Williams has just crashed out at the exit of turn 3, it looks like. I'm not sure what happened there. So much going on at once. Hogball's also getting into an incident off of turn 5, it looks like. Hiroshi just streaking away at the front, trying to avoid any challenge from 12s at the moment, but I don't think 12s is too worried about taking the lead. He's more worried about keeping second because RWE Aiden is already on his butt trying to get past on fresher tires. And it looks like he's got quite a lot more ERS to work with as well. That is a serious loss for Baby Pluto. He was in such a good position for a podium or maybe even a win today, but now forget all that. He is out. He will come home with no points today. Aiden using all the battery he can. 12 is already depleted to some extent, and he goes down the inside. Oh, turn 1, and it's a very clean move indeed. Now Ben Spittles is going to be the next. It's going to be the next one to overtake 12's teammate for the day. Yeah, it looked like Wang King spun simply because he got too aggressive on Ben Spittles into turn 2, and he just tapped his left rear wheel. And what a move from Ben Spittles on his teammate. May have been some team orders in play there. Maybe 12's made it a little bit easier than it could have been. But still a great move around the outside of turn 2. And now Ben Spittles, who had never even scored a point until a couple of weeks ago at Austria, is now in contention for a potential podium. What a turn of events for him. And in the meantime, we're going to be watching the battle between Ben Spittles and RWE Aiden unfold. Does Ben have the pace to keep up with the Mercedes driver who's won many races this year? And Tom Vattelers has already, meanwhile, has already battled that back up from 10th at the restart to 5th. The guy who was previously leading this race has already caught it to the back of 12s. He's made some amazing progress through the field. And it looks like he's going to get 12s on the pit straight here. DRS now being enabled because this is the start of the third lap after the safety car restart. He's going to go for it down the inside. Tom's just going to slip by on the inside of turn 1. That was a very clean move indeed. And 12s is just depleting his ERS. Look at that. He's in the single digit. He's in the single digit at this point. He's just having to defend from one onslaught after another. And Upstage Body might be coming after him pretty soon as well, because he's on fresher medium tires in that AlphaTauri. I know from experience. A lot of these guys know from experience as well. He's going to have to pit to fix that. Now Ben Spittle's already breaking the DRS from Pyrosi. Aiden needs to get a move on here if he wants to keep it. Ooh, getting very aggressive, and Aiden's around. He got too aggressive. Aiden is around on the exit of turn number 1. He knew he had to get a move on and to keep it within range of Ben Spittle's, and he hasn't done it. He has choked it away, and now Tom Battlers has inherited a net P2 in this race. He's going to get after Pyrosi next. And in the meantime, while these guys squabble, Ben Spittles is actually streaking off into the lead. I never thought I'd be saying that at the start of this season. Battler's now right on the back of Pyrosi. Could try a bold move in turn 11, but that probably wouldn't be wise. Look at him. You can see how much more grip Tom's has. He's all over the place. He's able to go anywhere. Pyrosi has to stick strictly to the racing line if he wants to keep Tom Battlers behind. He knows it's hard to overtake the track. He can use that to his advantage. He's going to break the slipstream very early and very aggressively, Pyrosi, but he's already made his one defensive move. There it is. Tom's is up the inside, and it's going to be a much easier move than I thought it might be. Pyrosi is going to cut back, but he doesn't have the grip to make it work, and Tom's is going to have the DRS. So now it's once again going to be a straight fight on pace between Tom Battlers and Ben Spittles, and everyone has Ghost just fitted intermediate tires. That is absolutely farcical. It's a good thing he's ghosted right now, because he's lapped down, so he will be ghosted to the rest of the field, but what is he doing? What is Delatraz doing? Ghost needs to come into the pits and retire at this point. He's spun on the exit of turn 5, and he is, even though he's ghosted, he's still going to be distracting to everyone who comes through that part of the track. For 4th place here, and it's not looking good at the moment. Aiden does have to make another pit stop, because although he's satisfied the 2 compound requirement by going from softs to mediums, there's no way he's going to make it another 18 laps on the medium compound. It's simply not durable enough. He wants to get past 12s as quickly as possible to maximize this stint so he can go on to the softs with as few people ahead of him as possible. That's the gist of it. But he's not doing that right now. He's not able to get past the Racing Point car. He's had 2 or 3 attempts already where he's been within DRS range. Maybe he'll do it this time. Let's find out. Riding a Moto 12s from the rear view camera. Looks like Aiden's going to be close enough. He just gets to an exit. And he's gaining, and he's gaining, and he's gaining, and it looks like he's going to go up the inside. Yes, he is. Aiden's going to get it done, it looks like. Well, he's going to try and cut back just like Pyrosi did in the same situation, in the same scenario, but he's not going to have enough grip. Aiden into P4. Still feeling the need to defend, but he's got the position. Pyrosi has the fastest lap of the race. I believe it was a 1:18 something. 1:19.8 or something along those lines. Didn't quite see. But either way, Pyrosi definitely gaining at a rate of knots on 12s at the moment. Could still be up for a top 5 finish after not even setting a time in qualifying. That would be a very impressive turnaround indeed. In the middle sector, we're going to ride on board with Epic J-Ball. And he's crashed. The Hungaroring is just brutal. It claims another victim. And Pyrosi has crashed out of 5th place. This is a huge development, and the safety car is out. And that is a godsend for Tom Battlers. Just as the first safety car screwed Tom's over by giving Aiden the opportunity to pit early, as well as Ben Spittles, now it's going to gift him the lead back, since he'll now get a free pit stop, essentially. And he'll be able to maintain his lead over Spittles and Aiden. This is huge. It looks like we're going to have a straight 4-way battle for the win between Tom's, Ben Spittles, Aiden, and Upstage, all of whom are on or about to be on fresh medium tires. This race just got a whole lot more exciting than... And the safety car is coming in this lap, so we will be going back to racing once again for these final 9 laps, and it's set to be an excellent shootout for the win here. Really anybody, pretty much anybody all the way down to 10th place with Mr. B has a chance at winning here, with the possible exception of Miniscope, since he's on 20-lap-old hard tires. Everyone on fresh, medium, or soft rubber, or perhaps hards if you're Gas Girl. And everyone ready to give it their all for the final 9 laps of this race. And we're back racing again at the Hungary ring. Ben Spittles and Tom Battler's already getting out to a bit of a lead because the lap car of RWE Pat seems to be holding them up. Ben Spittles tries to go down the inside, can't quite do it. Tom Battler's retains the lead, riding on board with the Red Bull from the review camera. I wonder how much of a fight Pat will put up. He is under blue flags at the moment, and he is ghosted, so it is going to be his duty to get out of the way of the cars on the lead lap, and he's doing that now for the 2 McLarens. There they go, Wang King and J-Bolt. Making our way back up to the leaders. Looks like now that the lap car has been disposed of, Aiden and Upstage and 12s, they're all going to get into this fight now. They're all going to catch up to the top 2 after that initial pit straight frustration. And it is going to be a big, fat scrap for the lead and for the podium. Epic J-Ball in the soft tire is already putting the pressure on 12s in the racing point. Can he do it down the inside into turn 11? That was a ballsy move. That is not a normal overtaking spot, but J-Ball has made it work. And he's into 5th place. Let's briefly check on how many time penalties everyone has out front for track limits. Oh, but J-Ball has 12 seconds worth. Tom Battler's at the fastest lap of the race, 117.2. So J-Ball's actually going to be plunked a fair way down the order because of those penalties. By my calculations, all the way down to 9th by Miniscope. So he's going to have to hope that everyone else gets messy in these closing laps, because right now he is not looking very good. And there's a Ferrari off in the background. It's Pat. RWE Pat was already a lap down, but now he's even further down because he has spun on the exit turn 1, it would seem. He's not the first person today to do that. CTR Kaos is out of the race because he spun at the exit turn 1. And it looks like Mr. B United on the soft tires. He's also pressing his advantage, getting past Wang King and McLaren. Lots of movement all through the field right now. And it's going to stay that way for the next 2 laps, I suspect. Actually, Tom Battler is showing his raw pace right now on those soft tires. Another purple metal sector. He's gapping Ben Spittles. He's already broken the DRS to the Racing Point car. But he's got to be careful not to take too much out of his tires at the moment. Otherwise, he's going to be left extremely vulnerable right at the end. Ben Spittles is second, and coming under pressure now from Aiden, who's now 8/10 behind him. He is within range. Tom Battler's got another fastest lap, 116.9. He's absolutely blistering right now, but will he stay that way for the rest of the Grand Prix? Only time will tell. Aiden is going to get DRS here. No, he's going to get it on the next lap. And Spittle's falling back slightly from Tom, but he's still in a position where he can claw that ground back a few laps later if he can just prevent himself from getting caught up in a battle with Aiden. I think that's the key right now if Ben Spittles wants to win this race. That and praying that Tom gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits, because right now he doesn't have one. Ben Spittles does, Aiden does, Upstage does. So that's another significant advantage for Tom's. Meantime, further back, Mr. B is again pressing the advantage of his soft tires against 12s this time in the Racing Point car. He could try and get him into turn number 1. And both of them are gaining on Epic J-Ball at the moment. I'm not sure why. J-Ball's on the soft tires as well, so he should be pulling away. But he seems to be struggling at the moment because 12s is all over him, just as Mr. B is all over 12s. Let's see how it plays out on the pit straight. 12s is going to go for a move, actually. What is going on with J-Ball? What's happened? Is he being forced to save fuel or something? Oh, he's out of DRS. Oh, and there's contact on the exit. J-Ball cut back and
while some others have tried to cut back without enough grip on the exit of turn 1. This time it's, oh, Mr. B goes down the inside. This time it's too much grip from J-Ball, and he just went into the side of 12s, and now 12s has been left behind, and now Mr. B is going to try and get him on in turn 4. What a move from Mr. B. What a chaotic sector that was. At first it looked like 12s had the advantage over all three of them. But then J-Ball came back and they both made the contact, and that gave Mr. B the opportunity he needed, and he has exploited it, and he's now into P5. And that's actually a net 4th place, since Upstage Body currently has one more time penalty than Mr. B does. So Mr. B could go from 10th at the restart all the way up to almost the podium by the end of this race. In the meantime, Gastro continuing to rack up the penalties further back. He's up to 18 seconds. Good thing it's only 18, because if it were 30 seconds, he'd be disqualified by now. In the meantime, Aiden trying to go after Ben Spittles now, trying to do exactly what Ben doesn't want to do. And Ben gets another time penalty. Ben Spittles' main advantage over Aiden, besides track position, was penalties. He had one less 3-second time penalty than he did, but now they are even. Now, if Aiden gets past Spittles, there is no way that Ben can still get second place. He needs to be fighting for his life, as if it were for his life right now. And this is good for Mr. B as well, because if he can claw back enough ground on those soft tires, he still only has 3 seconds of penalty, so he could gain more positions than just upstage. Let's see how it unfolds. In not being able to do anything into turn 1, don't think it'll be in turn 2 either. Ben Spittle's showing some amazing pace, to be fair to him. And further back to 2 McLaren, switch. Wang King now ahead of Epic J-Ball. J-Ball could use his soft tires to their full extent, and now he is paying the price. He's really falling behind now. As it stands, he's going to fall behind Miniscope for P9 at the very least. Meanwhile, further up ahead, Aiden is still trying to chase down Ben Spittles, but he just doesn't quite have the grip or the pace. Looks like Wang King is currently in position to steal 6th place from 12s on penalties. On penalties as well. Apologies for the coughing. As we start the final lap now at this Hungarian Grand Prix, Aiden is running out of opportunities. I don't think he's going to get it. The only real overtaking opportunities at this track are turns 1 and 2, and they're going through turns 1 and 2 right now for the final time. It looks like unless Ben Spittles makes some terrible mistake, he is going to have second place in this race. He is going to take the cake. Aiden's still so close yet so far at the moment. He could try a bonsai dive bomb into turn 11, I suppose, if he's close enough. But right now, I don't think he's close enough, and I don't think he has enough of a tire advantage to pull it off. Yeah, he's not going to get it. He is not going to get it. Aiden is going to have to settle for 3rd in this race, it would seem. But meanwhile, out front, Tom's Battlers in the Red Bull started 4th place, and he's had the best race pace out of everyone by far. He's adapted to the situation strategically. He took advantage of that second safety car like a pro, and now he is going to come home and win this Hungarian Grand Prix. Ben Spittles with his first RWE podium in 2nd place. Well done to him. He's really made a lot of progress. Aiden in 3rd. Upstage Body coming on in 4th. Great result for him. Mr. B is going to round out the top 5 with 12s right behind him at the line, but 12s is going to have P6 stolen from him by Wang King in the McLaren. Gable's going to come across the line in 9th, but I think Miniscope's just going to steal the position. Yes, he is. Miniscope 8th, J-Ball 9th. Gas Girl should come home in 10th here. Yeah, Noah behind him has too many penalties. Take advantage of Gas Girl's many penalties. So it's going to balance out. And Gas Girl takes the last World Championship point for Ferrari. And that's all, folks. According to the game, Gas Girl's driver of the day. To be honest, there's a good case for that, but there's also a great case for Ben Spittles, in my opinion. Anyway, the race is done. Those are the results. And we'll see the podium celebration in just a moment. And this is your finishing order once again. Tom Vadalus winning the race in reserve for Red Bull with the fastest lap of the race to boot, 1:16.9. Ben Spittles in second, his first ever podium. Aiden in third, upstage in fourth. Mr. B, the championship leader, getting solid points to continue on in fifth. Wayne King, 12s, Miniscope, J-Ball, and Gas Girl also getting points. NW Noel, Pat, Great Ace, and Hogball just missing out. And quite a few retirements today. Pyrosi, WNS Ghost, Baby Pluto, Murdoch, and CTR Kaos, they all crashed out in their own separate incidents. Just goes to show how unforgiving the Hungary Ring can be. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. That's the end of this stream. Tune in next Saturday for round 14 of our championship. And that'll be at Belgium, the wonderful Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Don't miss it. Should have equally good attendance. And I hope to see you all next week.